Hare Krishna, welcome everyone to our Srimad Bhagavatam OU class. We'll begin with our prayers. Om Jnanatimrandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, welcome everyone. We are discussing from the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam and we are on 87th chapter, the prayers of personified Vedas. So, in the last class, we discussed how Supreme Lord, he blessed Shrutadev and Bahulashva. He took all the sages and he gave mercy to these two great devotees, Shrutadev and Bahulashva. And in the end of that chapter, last chapter, Shukdev Goswami, he told, Evam sa bhaktayo rajan bhagavan bhakta bhaktiman ushitva dishya sanmargam punardvaravatim agat. So, on being requested by Shrutadev, Krishna, he stayed for some time in Videha and he taught the behavior of the saints. Evam sabhaktayo rajan bhagavan bhakta bhaktiman ushitvadishya sanmarga. Sanmarga means the behavior of the saints. So Krishna, he taught them the behavior of saintly people and then he returned. So Parikshit Maharaj, he asks a question in the beginning of the 87th chapter. Brahman brahmanya nirdeshye nirgune gunavrittayah katham charanti shrutayah sakshat sad asatah pare. Brahman, O Brahmana, O Shukdev Goswami, Brahmani anirdeshye. So the supreme absolute truth is anirdeshye. It cannot be described by the words. Nirgune, it is beyond material qualities. Gunavrittayah. So, katham charanti shrutayah. So, if the Supreme Lord is beyond the material modes, cannot be described by the words, how can the Vedas, they describe Supreme Lord? Sakshat sat asatah para. Because Supreme Lord is transcendental to all the material manifestations and their causes. So, this is a most technical chapter of entire 10th canto. Actually, you can say entire Bhagavatam. The prayers of personified Vedas. So, before beginning the commentary on this chapter, Sridhar Swami, he prays to Narasimhadev. Says, desiring to purify my sampradaya and being bound to my duty, I will briefly comment on the prayers of personified Vedas. And Chakravarti Thakur writes, he says, may saintly devotees laugh at me for becoming a jewel merchant. Because although I know nothing about the precious jewels, now I am trying to find some jewels in this prayers of the Vedas personified. But still, although I have no wisdom, no devotion, no detachment, still I am trying to write because I am greedy. I am greedy to take the philosopher's stone of the Vedic prayers. So therefore the Vedas, the prayers of these Vedas personified, they are very, very exalted prayers, and of course very, very technical. Pages after pages of commentary are given by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Jiva Goswami, Sridhar Swami. And to understand these prayers, it requires lots of, insight into the scriptures. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, if the wind of indiscretion threatens to knock me down, I catch hold of the pillars in the form of the lotus feet of Sanatan Goswami, Sridhar Swami, and Lord Sri Krishna. So that is how he begins this commentary. So then somebody may say, how come Parikshit Maharaj, he got such question? So there is a connection from the last chapter. So the last verse which we discussed, evam swabhaktayo rajan bhagwan bhakta bhaktiman ushitva dishya sanmargam punardvaravati magat. So Krishna, he taught them the behavior of the saintly people, sanmarg. So this sanmarg becomes the impetus for Parikshit Maharaj to ask this question. How is this? So Chakravarti Thakur writes, actually, the word sanmarg can be described in three ways. So in the first, sat means the devotee of the Supreme Lord. So that means the path of Bhakti Yoga. Sanmarg means path of Bhakti Yoga. So Krishna taught them path of Bhakti Yoga, Sanmarg. That is first meaning. Second meaning of the Sat is Jnana Yoga, seeker of transcendental knowledge. So Sanmarg means Jnana Yoga. And the third way is San means transcendental sound of the Vedas. So Sanmarg means process of following Vedic injunctions. So the second and the third interpretations of this word Sanmarg. The second interpretation was the process of cultivating speculative knowledge, philosophical knowledge, and the transcendental sound of the Vedas. It becomes the impetus. It leads to this question of Parikshit Maharaj. So Sridhar Swami, he says that actually the words, they have three kinds of meanings. And these are called Shabda Vritti, the Vritti of the word. Vritti means the meaning. So there are three kinds of Vritti. So this is going to be a very technical chapter. So please bear with us for some time. So Shabda Vritti, there are three types of Shabda Vritti. Mukhya Vritti, Lakshana Vritti, and Gauna Vritti. So Mukhya Vritti means the literal meaning of a word. So that is very obvious, the literal meaning, dictionary meaning of a word. And then he says Mukhya Vritti can also be divided into two parts, two subcategories, Rudhi and Yoga. So Rudhi means when the conventional meaning of the word is used. And Yoga means when another meaning is derived according to the etymological rules. This is called Mukhya Vritti. Then Lakshana Vritti. What is Lakshana Vritti? Lakshana Vritti means when you use some metaphorical sense. So, that is called Lakshana. So when is this Lakshana Vritti used? When is this metaphorical word meaning is used? He gives the example. When the words, they are very obvious, then there is no need to take them in a metaphorical sense. But sometimes the words actual literal meaning does not make sense. The example is Gangayam Ghoshpalli. So this word means the cowherd village in the Ganges. Gangayam Ghoshpalli. It does not make sense, right? How can the village be in Ganga? So then you have to take a metaphorical meaning. So the village which is on the bank of Ganga. So Mukhya Vritti means the literal meaning. Lakshana Vritti means metaphorical meaning. And Gauna Vritti means the special type of Lakshana. That is extended meaning. So he gives another example. If somebody says, oh, Simho Devadatta. Simho Devadatta means Devadatta is a lion. So Devadatta is a person, he is not a lion. But because of the qualities which are similar, because of his power, Devadatta is compared with a lion. He has lion-like qualities. Simho Devadatta. So this is the third type of Shabdavritti which is called as Gauna Vritti. So in the first verse in this chapter, in the Parikshit Maharaj is expressing a doubt. How can the Vedas, they describe the absolute truth by any of these three ways? By Mukhya Vritti, by Lakshana Vritti, by Gauna Vritti. How can the Vedas describe Supreme Lord? It is not possible. No? Because the Mukhya Vritti, it is not possible because Vedas, they deal with material qualities. How can Katham Charanti Sakshat? Katham Charanti, in this verse as you can see, Katham Charanti Sakshat. How can Vedas, they directly describe the Supreme Lord by their Rudha Mukhya Vritti. Rudha means direct literal meaning. Because Supreme Lord is anirdeshya. You cannot access the Supreme Lord. And how can the Vedas describe Brahman by their Gauna Vritti? Because Vedas are full of qualitative descriptions. And Brahman is Nirgun, Nirgune. So how can Vedas describe the Lord? By Gauna Vritti also. Because Lord is beyond Sat, Asat, Pare. He is beyond the cause and effect. So how can the Vedas describe the Lord? So Parikshit Maharaj is puzzled. Many of us may also be getting puzzled. Kya chal raha hai? Kahan shuru hua? Kahan end hua? Nothing is going in the head. But still, even if we are not able to understand, just the description is purifying. So Shukdev Goswami, after he hears this question, says, Buddhindriyamana pranan jananam astrijat prabhu matrartham cha bhavartham cha atmane kalpanaya cha. So now Shukdev Goswami is answering the question of Parikshit Maharaj. He says, the Lord manifested the buddhi, indriya, mana and prana of all the living entities. He manifested the intelligence, senses, mind and the vital air. Jananam asrijat prabhu. Asrijat means he created. Why? Matrartham cha bhavartham cha. So that they can indulge in sense gratification, and because they will do sense gratification, bhavartham. Bhavartham means repeated birth and death. And of course, in due course of time, they'll be elevated in their future lives and they will attain liberation also. Now, somebody will say, question kya chal raha hai? Answer kya de rahe hain Shukdev Goswami? Is there any relation? Parikshit Maharaj asked the question, how can Vedas describe the Supreme Brahman who is beyond the modes, beyond material qualities, anirdeshye. And Shukdev Goswami क्या बोल रहे हैं? He's saying, oh Lord created buddhi, indriya, mana and pran, by which living entities can enjoy and ultimately get liberated also. So actually there is a connection. So why he's telling? There is a reason. Because it may seem that the answer is irrelevant. Question is something else and answer is something else completely. But actually Shukdev Goswami is not irrelevant. Because the question is very subtle. And the subtle questions should not be answered directly. Because Krishna also says in the 11th canto, Parokshvada mama priya. Parokshvad. I like indirect speech. If somebody speaks indirectly, I like that. So Shukdev Goswami is giving indirectly answer to the question of Parikshit Maharaj. So Shukdev Goswami says, you are telling that Brahman is indescribable by words, but if the Supreme Lord did not create your intelligence, mind, senses, then all these sense objects, they will be as indescribable as the Brahman. If you would have been born deaf and blind, what to speak of asking about Brahman? You would not have even conceived of any of the forms which are available. So just understand that Lord is very, very merciful. And just as Lord has given the facilities and faculties for perception, He has given eyes, ears. Similarly, Lord can give the capacity to realize Brahman also. He can empower the words of the Vedas to describe what is indescribable. So that is the indirect way. Shukdev Goswami is actually, it's in a sarcastic way, he's telling Parikshit Maharaj, Arey, what are you telling? Krishna can do anything. So in the commentary, in the purport, Hridayan Goswami Maharaj, he writes that Krishna, he creates this entire world because he is compassionate towards all the living entities. Living entities, they want to enjoy, and that's why Krishna has created this entire universe. And by providing the living entities with their gross and subtle bodies, so Supreme Lord is giving them a chance to do dharma, artha, kama and moksha. And we should understand, in all these endeavors, either they are doing dharma or acquiring wealth or sense gratification or even liberation. In all these various things, the mercy of the Lord is the must. One has to depend on the mercy of the Lord to become successful. So this is very, very important. That is the mercy of the Lord. So after telling this in short, he says, Shukdev Goswami says, actually, our ancestors, our predecessors, they also meditated on these subject matters, and they also became free from all the material entanglements. Then after this, Shukdev Goswami, he relates a narration which happened between Nara Narayan Rishi or Narayan Rishi and Narad Muni. So it is a general, very common thing. Whenever somebody asks some philosophical thing, the speaker, he quotes some other conversation. Just like in the 11th canto also we heard Nimi Maharaj and all the Nava Yogendras pastime was described. The conversation was described by Narad Muni to Vasudev. So here Shukdev Goswami is describing a conversation which happened between Narayan Rishi and Narad Muni. So in this conversation, Narayan Rishi is connected in two ways. He is a speaker of the subject matter and he is the subject which he is describing. So Narayan is the Supreme Lord, right? So he is describing his own qualities. So Shukadeva Goswami continues that once while traveling, Narad Muni, he went to the ashram of Narayan Rishi, that primeval sage, Naranarayan. And this Narayan Rishi, from the beginning of Brahma's day, Narayan Rishi was engaged in performing, he is engaged in performing all the austerities, penances for the welfare of people in general. He is doing his religious practices, he is cultivating jnana, all for the welfare of people in general. So Shukadeva Goswami says, Narad Muni, he approached Narayan Rishi and he asked the same question which you are asking me. So now something interesting happened. So Narayan Rishi is a Supreme Lord, right? But when Narad Muni, he asked this question to Narayan Rishi, Narayan Rishi is now relating a discussion which happened between the residents of Janaloka. So the story within the story within the story. So Narayan Rishi is now telling to Narad Muni that, O son of Brahma means Narada, once in Janaloka, the great sages, they performed a sacrifice to please the Supreme Lord by chanting various mantras. And at that time, you were also visiting Shvetadvipa. And same question arose there. Same question was asked by the sages, inquired by the sages. So now who will answer the question? Because all the sages were equally qualified. So anyways, they chose one of them. They chose Sanandana, the four sons of Brahmaji, Sanak, Sanatan, Sanandana and Sanat Kumar. Although all the sages of Janaloka, they were equally qualified, but still they chose one person, Sanandana, as a speaker. And all the others, they became listeners. So then what happened? So Sanandana, when he was asked the same question by all the sages of Janaloka, so he starts describing. He says, after the Supreme Lord withdrew all the universes at the end of the creation, all the universes going back into the body of the Supreme Lord Vishnu, and stays there in the body till the next creation. So at the time of next creation, what happens now? The Lord is sleeping, as if sleeping, the word says as if sleeping. So at the time of creation, all the personified Vedas, they come and they start beautifully chanting the glories of the Lord so that the Lord can be awakened. Just like all the various subordinates of a king, they go in the morning and they chant the glories of the king to wake him up by reciting the heroic deeds of the king. Similarly, these sages, these personified Vedas, Shrutis, they went and they started glorifying the Lord. So now, from here, from the 14th verse onwards, for 28 verses, very, very powerful and very exalted and very technical prayers are spoken by the Shrutis, the Vedas personified. Of course, if the Vedas are speaking something, it has to be very, very exalted and at the same time very technical. So that's the way they are. And huge elaborate commentaries are written by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and Jiva Goswami, explaining each and every word, each and every line. So the 28 verses are described, and Jiva Goswami says that actually there are many Shrutis, many Vedas. So Shruti means all the Upanishads also, and all the various parts, they are all called Shrutis. So of all the Shrutis, 28 prominent Shrutis, they came ahead and they are speaking one prayer. So that's how there are 28 prayers. So, As we will see, there are various approaches to the Supreme Absolute Truth, and the Shrutis which describe the Supreme Lord's feature in the personal form, they are considered to be the supreme and most exalted, most prominent Shrutis. So the Shrutis, they start glorifying the Lord. They say, victory, victory unto you, O Supreme Lord, you are full in all the opulences. And therefore, O Lord, please defeat this power of illusion which you have created. This illusion controls the modes of material nature. All the energies, they are awakened by you, O my Lord. And therefore, we Vedas, we recognize you as the one who is enjoying various pastimes with your material creation. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he interprets the first word of this prayer. Jaya, Jai, Jaya, Jai, victory, victory to you. He says, the Vedas are telling, please reveal your super excellence. And the word is repeated twice out of their joy. So Vedas are overwhelmed by getting the darshan of the Lord, and they are, telling twice, Jai, Jai. So Lord might ask, how should I reveal my super excellence? So the Shrutis, they tell, oh my Lord, please mercifully destroy the ignorance of the living entities, destroy the illusion which is binding all the living entities. So the Lord may say, but actually Maya is full of good qualities, and why should I oppose her? So you're telling to destroy Maya, but Maya is having good qualities. Why should I oppose her? So the Shrutis say, yes, Maya has good qualities, but actually, she has taken the role of bewildering the conditioned souls. She has taken the three modes of material nature, and she is bewildering all the conditioned souls by that. So therefore, these modes, they are tainted. They are dosha garbhit. Dosha garbhit means they are tainted with faults, because they are bewildering living entities. And the Shrutis, they continue telling, oh my Lord, you are Ajita, you are unconquerable one. You cannot be conquered by Maya, so therefore please, you can dispel Maya. Everybody in this world, Brahma and all the Devatas, they are under the control of Maya, but you are not. So Lord may respond, but what proof do you have that I have conquered the Maya and she cannot conquer me? Vedas tell, oh my Lord, actually the proof lies in your state, because you are always situated in your position. Your opulences, they are never destroyed. So in this way, the Vedas, they are beautifully offering the prayers to the Supreme Brahman, the Lord who is creating this entire cosmos. And Lord, he asks, okay, what is the evidence that you are speaking all that? You are speaking that I am the supreme and I cannot be conquered and I am all powerful. What is the evidence? Vedas, they humbly tell, we are the evidence, of my Lord. We ourselves are the evidence. Because, on some occasions, you perform so many pastimes with your external energy, and that's how all these activities are manifesting, and we are a constant witness of all these activities. So the Lord may say, okay, but you are Shrutis, you are the Vedas. You do not speak of me as a supreme many times. Many times you glorify Indra as a supreme. Indra yato avasitasya raja. Indra is a supreme. Sometimes you glorify Agni as the supreme. So why should I believe you? So the Shrutis, expecting this response from the Supreme Lord, they say, oh my Lord, you are the foundation of all the existence. All the created things, they are coming from you, and again they will be merged in you. All the thoughts, words, and actions of the great personalities, great devotees, actually, you are the source of all of them. So in the purport, Vidyan Maharaj writes, actually some Vedas, they tell Indra is supreme, Agni is a supreme. So Vedas, they are telling here very clearly, actually you are the foundation of everything. You are the supreme source of everything in the world, O my Lord. And therefore, Vedas are using the word avashesha. Avashesha means you are the only one who remains even after the entire universe is annihilated. You are avishesh, you are avikritat. Avikritat means you do not undergo any transformation. Even though so many transformations are happening in the universe, you are beyond the transformations of the material universe. And he gives the analogy of a clay. Just like a mass of a clay is the ingredient cause of all the pots and the statues and so many things which may be made from the clay. But the clay, in essence, it remains unchanged. Clay is not changed. Clay may give rise to so many of the various objects and forms, but the clay remains unchanged. Similarly, O my Lord, you may give rise to so many of the transformations in this universe, but personally you remain unchanged. So therefore we know Prakriti is the ingredient cause. That is, the Prakriti provides all the material ingredients. And all the ingredients, Prakriti, source of Prakriti is the Supreme Lord Vishnu. So that's how the Vedas are glorifying Krishna as the Supreme Brahman. And then they start worshipping the Supreme Lord as Bhagavan. So Jiva Goswami, he tells that in the previous verse, the Shrutis, they presented why in some places Lord is described as impersonal. So they gave a clarification. And now, other Shrutis, they are focusing more on the personal aspect of the Supreme Lord. So the Shrutis, they tell that the great wise people, they get rid of all the miseries by diving deep into the nectarine topics of you. So now, Vedas are glorifying the Bhagavan feature of the Lord. So they are telling that the great devotees, they dive into the nectarian topics of you and they become free of all the contamination just by hearing the topics. So what to speak of those people, who this strength, what is the big thing if they become free from their bad habits? Actually, you can free them from all the contamination. As Bhagavatam describes, Yasya kilami vahabi sumangalai vacho vimishra gunakarma janmabhi prananti shumbhanti punanti vai jagat yastad virakta shavashobhanamati Yasya akhil amiva habi sumangalai. So the pastimes, the words which are mixed with the guna, karma and janma of the Lord, they can purify one of all the sins. Actually, these words, they purify the entire universe. They enliven the entire universe and they animate the entire universe. Prananti, shumbhanti, punanti vai jagat. And apart from that, everything is a decoration of a dead corpse. So therefore, if somebody hears Krishna Katha, he becomes free from all the material miseries and gradually he becomes detached. Virakti has to come. So who will not get interested in hearing the glories of the Lord? Because by hearing the pastimes of the Lord, one becomes free from miseries and one becomes detached. Kastripnuyat tirthapadobhidhanat kshatreshu vasuriviridyamanat yat karnanadim purushasya yato bhava pradam geharatim chinatti. Kastripnuyat, who can be satisfied hearing Krishna Katha? Because if yat karnanadi purushasya yato, if this Krishna Katha enters the ears, what will happen? Bhava pradam geharati chinatti. It can destroy the hard knot of material life. So devotees, they are actually called as suris. Suris means they are the connoisseurs of spiritual truth. They are interested in tasting this nectar of Krishna Katha. And that is the power of bhakti. Bhakti can purify all the contaminations of the heart. Just like the water does not stick to the lotus leaf, a devotee, although he's staying in the material world, he does not get contaminated by the material contamination. So the Shrutis, they continue that, oh my Lord, if somebody becomes your faithful follower, actually, that brings life to a person. Otherwise, what is the use of breathing? Because the bellows are also breathing. As we know in the second canto, Suta Goswami, he's encouraging Shaunakadi Rishis, they are encouraging Suta Goswami to speak. And they are telling one verse. Tarva kimna jivanti bhastra kimna swashantyuta nakhadanti namehanti kim grame pashave pare. Oh, trees are also living. The bellows of blacksmith are also breathing. What is the big deal? So the Vedas, they are telling, if somebody does not hear, what is the use of living what is the use of breathing like a bellow of blacksmith? Actually, all the elements, they are created by the mercy of the Lord. Everything is coming because Krishna is the source of everything. And all the manifestations, actually, although they are coming from you, but you are not affected by any of these manifestations. You are even beyond Anandamaya Kosh. There are 5 koshas. It will come in some time. So the 5 koshas, you are beyond Anandamaya, but still you come to this material world as super soul and keep guiding all the living entities. Without your guidance, nothing is possible. So therefore, this is a gift of human form which we have received. If somebody does not take advantage of this human form, he is like the killer of the soul. As Ishopanishad tells, Asuryanam te loka andhena tam savrita tamste pretyabhigachanti yeke chatmahano jana. Yeke chatmahano jana. Those who do not take advantage of this human form and engage in sense gratification, they go to lowest of the planets. They are killing their own self. So therefore, Krishna is telling again and again that become my devotee, manmanabha madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. Make your life successful. So that is the prayer which these Shrutis are offering. And so in the purport, Hridayan Maharaj Chakravarti Thakur, he describes what are the 5 types of koshas. So the Annamaya Kosh, Pranamaya Kosh, Manomaya Kosh, Jnanamaya and Anandamaya Kosh. So Annamaya means the person is only interested in food. So all the basically animals, they are like this, interested in food, protecting their self. So the word Suri, so somebody asked, yeah. The Suri means the connoisseurs of the absolute truth. Those who are interested only in hearing Krishna Katha. That is called Suri. Suri means very, very chivalrous. Devotees, they are called Suribhi. They are interested in nothing else but Krishna. So at the level of Annamay and Pranamay, people are just interested in protecting themselves. So the first concern of a civilized person is economic development. That is called Annamaya Kosh. Then, as the consciousness grows, he comes to the second level of defense. First, I'll increase my resources and then I'll defend them. That is Pranamaya Kosh. And then the third level is Manomaya Kosh. So after he is secured, he has sufficient wealth, then he wants to understand the philosophical truth which are given in the Vedas. That is called Manomaya. And as he gradually evolves in the process of philosophical understanding, he comes to the next level of Jnanamaya Kosh. Jnanamaya Kosh means realizing, understanding that I am not this body, I am spirit soul. And the highest level of understanding is to realize and understand the Supreme Lord. That is called Vijnanamaya Kosh. So by gradually developing this knowledge of spiritual life, one comes to the level of Vijnanamaya Kosh. Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na shojati na kankshati sama sarveshu bhuteshu madbhaktim labhate param. So that is the level of Vijnanamaya Kosh. Brahma Bhut, he realizes the Supreme Lord as the Brahman. So then after worshipping the Supreme Lord as the Bhagavan, now another Shruti, they come and they are glorifying the Supreme Lord as the super soul who is there in the heart of each and every living entity. So these Shrutis, they are telling that people who are less intelligent, they worship that Supreme Lord situated in the abdomen. And some who are little more advanced, they are called Arunis. They worship the Supreme Lord in the region of the heart. And ultimately they raise their consciousness to the head. And from there they can actually achieve the Supreme Lord. So as we know that there are various chakras in the body. So there is a Mooladhara chakra, the lowest of the third chakras in the body. So the neophyte yogis or Ashtanga yogis, they meditate, they try to raise their life air from the lowermost chakra to the highest chakra. So the neophyte meditators, they focus on the Mooladhara chakra, which is situated at the base of the spine. And as they advance in their consciousness, they raise the life air to the next chakra, which is there in the abdomen, which is called Manipur chakra. And slowly they take that life air up to the Brahma Randhra. So they are called Arunis. Arunis, they focus on the heart and then they take the life air, prana, to the level of the brain. So these Shrutis, they are telling that actually you are entering various species of life and you are actually manifesting various bodies. Everything is happening because of you, oh my Lord, but you are free of all these attachments. You are not affected. And then another set of Shrutis, they come and they describe the position of the Jiva, the living entity, as the worshipper of the Supreme Lord. So these Shrutis, they are telling that individual living entities, they get various types of material bodies depending on the karma which they have performed. And actually, they remain, although the living entity gets different types of bodies, but the living entity is not covered by the gross and subtle bodies. The soul is always untouched. The soul may get covered by the various bodies, but the soul never gets touched by these material bodies because soul is spiritual and the bodies are material. How can material touch the spiritual? It is not possible. So that's what they are telling, you know. And then they tell me, the person, the living entity who understands this, and he understands that living entity is a part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, oh my Lord. The living entity is your part and parcel. But the learned person, what he does? He engages in worshipping you with faith. So Jiva, we are never touched by material energy, but we start identifying ourselves with the material energy. So in the commentary, Chakravarti Thakur writes about the position of the Jiva. Jiva is not a Vishnu Tattva. He is a Tatastha Shakti. Sometimes being affected by the internal potency, sometimes affected by the external potency. Yeah. So in this world, living entities, they appear to be covered by the material nature because we start identifying with the material nature. That is the principle of aham and mameti, me and mine. This is my body, this is me, and these are related to my body. That is the cause of entanglement. Although the spirit soul is untouched, but still, you know, the spirit soul starts identifying internally also and externally also. So externally, one starts identifying with the gross body which he receives, and internally, you know, he starts identifying with various types of desires and aversions. I like this, I don't like this. Ichha dvesha samuthena dvandva mohena bharata sarva bhutani sammoham sarge yanti parantapa. So because of the ichha and dvesha, living entities, they get entangled and they keep taking birth one after another. But ultimately, spirit soul is spiritual. All these coverings are insubstantial. They are not touching the spirit soul. So then, after describing this, the Shrutis, they tell that actually one should worship the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. By the worship of the lotus feet of the Lord, one can come out of the identification with the body. After this, the super excellence of the bhakti yoga is described by some other Shrutis. So these Shrutis, they come up and they start telling, those who are rare, great, fortunate souls, they take great delight in sporting in the nectar of the topics of the Lord. And for them, you know, dharma, artha, kama, moksha, they are insignificant. Actually, they are no more important than a blade of grass for them. Because the devotees, they constantly drink the nectar of your katha. So therefore, they are like the swans. Krishna Leela Amritasar Tara Shata Shatadhar Dasha Dike Bahe Yaha Haite Sai Chaitanya Leela Hue Sarovar Akshay Manohamsa Charah Tahate. So Krishna Leela is like a river of nectar and hundreds of the tributaries are going in all the directions. Chaitanya Leela is like a inexhaustible reservoir of nectar. So a devotee who is like a swan, he engages his mind in drinking this nectar. Krishna Bhakti Siddhantagan Yate Prafulla Padmavan Tara Madhu Kariya Swadan Premarasa Kumudvane Prafullita Ratri Dine Tate Charao Mano Bhringagan. So in this, Kaviraj Goswami is comparing a devotee's mind with a bumblebee. So Krishna Bhakti ka Siddhanta, you know, the philosophy which we are discussing, it is like a full-blown forest, you know, in which flowers, various types of flowers are blooming. Yate Prafulla Padmavan, it is a forest of lotuses. Tara madhu karya swadan, just like a bumblebee drinks the nectar of the lotus flower. Similarly, a devotee should engage his mind in drinking this nectar of Harikatha. And that is the expectation, that is the desire of a devotee. Devotee is not interested in anything else. Nakamayena tadapyaham kvachin nayatre yushmat charanambuja savaha mahattamaikantaridhayan mukhachyuto vidhatsa karna yuta esha me varaha. Ritu Maharaj is praying, "Oh my Lord, I do not want anything of this world. I want millions of years to hear your pastimes." That is the only desire of a devotee. So the Mayavadis, they may tell, "Oh, devotional services for the sentimental people." But actually, the Vedas, they are personally telling here that devotional service is the ultimate thing. It is the epitome of all the teachings of the Vedas. It is Vedas are themselves declaring the super excellence of devotional service. So the great souls, they drink the nectar of the topics of the Lord. And Chakravarti Thakur, he writes that just like for a materialist, even though they engage in sex life and they get exhausted, they like that exhaustion. Similarly, the devotees, while dancing and singing and jumping up and down and serving Krishna, they may get exhausted. But that is the cause of the highest bliss for a devotee. Tomar sevaya dukkha hoye jata seyoto parama sukha. So whatever problems and pains which I am experiencing in your service, O my Lord, that is the cause of the greatest bliss for me. So therefore, these Shrutis, they are telling, when this human body is used for devotional service, this human body acts as a friend, acts as a beloved, and acts as one's own self. So with this human body, we can achieve the highest perfection of life. So that is the wonderful nature of devotional service. So therefore, although the Lord is the dearmost object, but because a person is attached to the body, they forget the Lord. They think that the devotion is unreal. And they have devotion for the unreal. They have devotion for all the material things of the world. And therefore, they glide down to the lowest of the existence. So these are the strong words of the Vedas. That anybody who does not take shelter of the scriptures, do not take shelter of the devotional service unto the Supreme Lord, he is an illusion. So therefore, if somebody says, "Oh, bhakti is for the sentimental people who cannot do anything. We are jnanis. We are interested in speculation and philosophical knowledge." What are you people doing? No, you can tell them that this is what the scriptures are telling. The Vedas are praying that bhakti is the ultimate goal of everything. So then, Jiva Goswami tells that few Shrutis who identify the Supreme Lord as a cowherd boy, just like Gopal Tapani Upanishad describes the features of Krishna as a cowherd boy. So far, they have been patiently waiting for their turn to come. So all the Vedas, they are lined up to offer their prayers. And this Gopal Tapani Upanishad, waiting. So, but when this Gopal Tapani Upanishad hears all the other Shrutis glorifying the personal feature of the Lord, glorifying the devotional service, they cannot stay. They cannot just keep quiet now. So, out of their way, it was not their turn, but still they start speaking. And they tell, "Oh my Lord, simply by speaking, simply by thinking of you, even the demons, they get liberated. And we Shrutis, we are also aspiring to achieve the same goal which your consorts have attained. So these Shrutis, they want to become the gopis. So that's why they're offering their prayers. So they are telling that the demons, they attained you by thinking of you. We want to become gopis who are embraced by your serpentine arms. So somehow or other, anyway, a person, a living entity remembers Krishna, he is benefited. Gopya kamad bhayat kamso dveshyaschaidhyadayo nripaha sambandhat vrishnaya sneha dhyuyam bhaktya vayam prabho. Narad Muni is telling to Yudhishthir Maharaj, the gopis, they attained Krishna out of lust, Kamsa attained Krishna out of fear, Shishupal attained Krishna out of envy, you have attained Krishna by loving him, and we have also attained Krishna by devotional service. Humbly Narad Muni is telling. So here, the Shrutis here, they want to become the gopis. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he quotes another conversation which comes in Brihad Vamana Puran. So in this Brihad Vamana Puran, Brahmaji is telling this, that one time, Supreme Lord, who was staying in Vaikuntha, he was being glorified by the personified Vedas there. And by hearing the prayers of the Vedas, the Lord was very much satisfied, and he told them, please ask for a benediction. So these Vedas in the Vaikuntha, they prayed to become the gopis. So the Lord said, actually, this is impossible. Actually, though your desire is very difficult to fulfill, actually it is almost impossible. But still, because you have asked me, it must come true. So then Lord told that when the next Brahma takes birth, you all will appear in Saraswat Kalpa, in Mathura, in Vrindavan, and you will get a chance to become the consorts of mine. So in this way, Lord gave benediction to the Vedas in the Vaikuntha, and then they came here in the material world. So after hearing this, all the Shrutis, they became so very happy, and they were waiting for the time to come so that they could dance with Krishna in Ras Leela. And that's how the Shruti Chari gopis are. In another place in the Padma Puran, it is described that actually Gayatri Mantra also prayed to become a gopi. And she also achieved the form of a gopi. So therefore, Bhakti Yoga is the best process, and it is the most easy process which can take one to the spiritual world, which can take one to the Supreme Lord. So therefore they tell, the Shrutis, they tell, oh my Lord, in this world, although everybody is going to die, how can anyone know that Supreme Lord if he is not practicing devotional service? Even great personalities like Brahma cannot know you. How can anyone know you if somebody is not practicing devotional service? Only by devotional service you can be known. Otherwise, great sages, even devatas, they are trying. Panthastu koti shatavatsara sampragamyo vayo rathapi manaso muni pungavana. Sages are trying since millions of lifetimes. They are not able to see the tip of the toe of the Lord. So by karma, by jnana, by yoga, a conditioned soul cannot attain the Lord. So why one should endeavor? All these are futile endeavors if there is no devotion. Because if devotion is not there, neither karma will give the result, neither jnana, neither yoga. Because you cannot catch the Lord. Anejadekam manaso javiyo, because Lord can run faster than the mind. You cannot catch the Lord by any of these things. Bhaktyaham ekaya grahya, only my devotee can know me. That's how the super excellence of Bhakti Yoga is described. And then some of the other Shrutis, they come and they start glorifying the process of Paricharyavad. Paricharyavad means the devotional service. So again and again, the Shrutis, they are glorifying devotional service unto the Supreme Lord, and they refute the other 6 theories, of Sankhya, Yoga, Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Vimamsa, Vedanta. These are the very most prominent theories, 6 theories of the Vedic system. So the Shrutis, they tell, oh my Lord, there are various theories which declare that matter is the cause of the existence. That is Vaisheshika theory. Matter is the cause. And some say that soul can be destroyed. Some say that the self is compounded, as compounded of the separate aspects of the spirit and the matter. That is the philosophy of Nyaya. Some people say that some philosophy says that all these material transactions, they have no actual reality. That is Mayavad philosophy. So all these philosophies, they actually hide the truth. That is what the Vedas, they are telling. All these philosophies, they are hiding the actual truth. And therefore, all the living entities who are, hearing this philosophy, they are falling in the dualities of life. They are covered by the ignorance more and more. Again, elaborate purport is given. How this one verse describes all these 6 philosophies, what are their, what is the theory, and how this verse refutes all those theories. So the Vaisheshika, this theory says that the universe is created by a combination of atoms. And the soul and the super soul, they only have some roles, some token roles. But how can the atoms combine automatically? Because of the karma of the jivas? If the jivas are not in picture, how can the atoms combine automatically? Because the karma cannot be transferred from one jiva to another jiva. What to speak of the dead matter? So it is not possible. Then about the yoga philosophy of Patanjali Rishi. So the word uses Jani Masataha. Jani Masata means to achieve the Brahman, one should perform various asanas and breathing exercises. But this Patanjali Yoga is called Asat. Why? Because it is ignoring the essential part of surrendering to the Supreme Lord. Devotion is missing. So therefore it is Asat. Then the philosophy of Nyaya, which is given by Gautama Rishi, it negates both, it tells that one can achieve liberation by negating happiness and coming out of the illusion. That is the philosophy of this Nyaya. But these Nyaya philosophers, what they do? They tell that once a person gets liberated, he becomes devoid of all the consciousness. That means he is like a dead stone. So that is their fault. How is it possible? Then the Sankhya philosophy, atheistic Sankhya, not the theistic Sankhya. There is an atheistic Sankhya also. So this philosophy tells that soul is conscious, but the soul is not active by nature. Material nature is active. How is this possible? It is not possible. because soul by nature is active. So therefore all these philosophies, they are not giving the right understanding. So the various words are given by these for these philosophies: asat utpattivad, shad vinashavad, sagunatva bhedavad, vipanavad, vivartavad. After telling all that, the Vedas, they tell, actually the only thing which is perfect is paricharyavad. What is paricharyavad? Paricharyavad means devotional service unto the Supreme Lord. That is the only perfect understanding of the scriptures. Then they tell, actually, oh my Lord, these modes, they comprise everything in this world. For the simplest phenomena to the most complex phenomena, the modes are doing everything. And because of the modes, people think that this world is all in all. They forget that Supreme Lord is behind all these things. But the devotees who worship you, O my Lord, they are not so fearful of death. People, they are fearful of death in this world. Devotees, they put their feet on the head of the death. They are not fearful. But people who are like animals, they do not take shelter of the devotional service, and then they, get caught up in the cycle of birth and death. So therefore, in this way, the Vedas, they are describing that devotional service is the ultimate thing. And then another Shrutis, they come and they start giving the distinction between the super soul, Jiva, and the Maya. So Lord may tell that you say that the Jivas are dependent and the servants of the Lord, but I am also dependent. I am also dependent on my senses, my hands, my ears, my arms. So why are you telling that I am supreme independent, I am all powerful? So the Vedas, they tell, oh my Lord, you may have senses, but you don't have material senses. Your senses are all spiritual. You are not controlled by anybody. Your arms, your legs, they are not controlled by any devata. For an ordinary person, his arms, his legs, all the bodily movements, they are controlled by devatas. You are the controller of the devatas. You are not controlled by devatas. And actually all these universal rulers, they are acting because of your fear. Madbhayad vati vatoyam suryastapati madbhayat varshati indro dhatyagni mrityuscharati madbhayat. Kapaladev is telling, out of my fear, wind is blowing, sun is giving light and heat. Everything is happening because of my fear. So the Shrutis, they are telling, oh my Lord, because of you everything is happening. And because of your material energy, everything is moving in this world. Because you glance on the material nature, therefore all the various forms, they come out. The various forms of the living entities, they are coming out because you are glancing on the material nature. You are not partial to anybody. You are giving living entities bodies according to their karmic reaction. So Supreme Lord has nothing to gain in this world. We have to understand this. Supreme Lord is making all this complex creation so that we can fulfill our desire to enjoy. That is the compassion of Supreme Lord. Just seeing the complexity of the material creation, one can understand how Lord is working hard to fulfill our desires. That is the extreme compassion of the Lord. But people who are unintelligent, They think, oh, why Lord has made this world with so much problems, so many miseries. But the intelligent person understands that Lord has made this world for our welfare, for our sake, because we wanted to enjoy. So therefore, oh my Lord, all these Vedas, they are telling that there are so many countless living entities, you are controlling all of them. They are not controllers, you are the actual controller. So therefore, although both the material nature and the living entities, they are eternal, yet the bodies of the living entities, they come because you are glancing on the material nature. Living entities are eternal, material nature is eternal. But when the material nature comes and covers the living entity in the various forms, the forms are not eternal. The forms are temporary, right? And at the end of the creation, what happens? All the material nature ultimately winds up, just like the rivers enters the ocean, merges in the ocean, just like honeybee takes various flowers from various nectars. Honeybee takes various nectars from various types of flowers, and then combine all of the nectar to form honey. Similarly, at the end of annihilation, all the living entities, they merge back in you. So therefore, living entities who understand all these things, they can come out of the cycle of material world. Otherwise, people, they are being torn apart because of the wheel of time, which has 3 rims. What are the 3 rims of the wheel of time? Past, present, and future. Devotees, they are fearless, but the materialistic people, they are fearful of the wheel of time. Ayurharti vaipumsam udyam astanchayannasau tasyarte yashanau nitau uttama shloka vartaya. With every rising and setting of the sun, the life of a living entity is decreasing, materialist is going down, but a devotee is coming closer to the eternal life. So in this way, Vedas are revealing the most cherished secret. Only by the process of devotional service one can come out of this illusion. Otherwise, it is impossible. Daivi hiesha gunamayi mama maya duratyaya. Material nature is insurmountable. Mamevaye prapadyante maya metam tarantite. Only by surrendering to Krishna one can cross this ocean. Lord himself gives the assurance. Lord Ram tells, Sakriteva prapannoya tavasmi iti chayachate abhayam sarvada tasmai dadamye tadvratam mama. Lord Ram is giving assurance. He is giving his pratigya. Anybody who comes and tells even once, oh my Lord, I am yours. Abhayam sarvada tasmai, I give him fearlessness. So only devotional service can make one fearless. And then another Shrutis, they come and they describe the nature of pure devotional service. They are telling, oh my Lord, mind is like a uncontrolled, impetuous horse. Very difficult to control the mind. And whoever tries to tame the mind, but he does not take shelter of your lotus feet, he will never achieve perfection. So only by taking shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, mind can be controlled. Rupam bhagavato yatan manah kantam shuchapaham Manah Kanta. Mind wants to see so many things. Mind gets attracted by so many things of the world, but only the form of the Lord can satisfy the mind. So therefore, unless somebody takes shelter of the spiritual master and serves him, one cannot control the mind. Tad vijnanartham sagurum eva abhigachet. One has to take shelter of the Supreme Lord. One has to take shelter of the spiritual master, who is like the captain of the boat, who can take us across the ocean of the material existence. Therefore, those people who take shelter of you, for them all these material things, they are worthless. Atma, Jaya, Suta, Agar, Pashu, Dravind, Bandhu, Rajya, these are all useless. But those who do not appreciate devotional service, they are interested in only the pleasures of sex life. They'll be destroyed in due course of time. They will not achieve perfection. So therefore, the great sages, they go to the pilgrimage places and they take shelter of the devotees in those pilgrimage places, because the devotees, they purify the places of pilgrimage. Bhavadvida Bhagavata Tirtha Bhuta Swayam Vibho Tirthi Kurvanti Tirthani Swantasthena Gadabhrita. Because devotees have Krishna in their heart, they can purify even the places of pilgrimage. And then, the Shrutis, they are telling that this material world is real, but temporary. So Lord, hearing all these, he may tell, how can you criticize the material world as good also and bad also? In one place you are telling material world is a place of misery, and then you are telling if you go to the pilgrimage place, you can make your life perfect. So how is it possible? So the Shrutis, they clarify. Although this world, it has come from you, it is not illusion, it is real. Because it has come from you. It is real. You are Sat. This material world is also Sat. But it is temporary. Lord is permanent. Lord's abode is permanent. But this material world is not permanent. It is reality, but it is not permanent. It is temporary. So therefore, my Lord, these places, this universe, it existed before. It did not exist before, and it will not exist after annihilation. Only in the middle time, this universe is there, in the manifest state. And then they describe how Lord reciprocates with those who are immature devotees and yogis. So they tell that living entities, because they are attracted by the material nature sometimes, they get contaminated, because the living entity embraces the material nature. Living entity loses all the spiritual qualities and therefore undergoes repeated birth and death. But the super soul, he's so very merciful. He never leaves the living entities. He's always there with all of them as Paramatma. Do Suparna Sayuja Sakhaya. Just like two birds on the same branch. Those yogis whose hearts are not pure, they cannot understand that you are present in their heart. And therefore, what they do? Although they are doing yoga, they want to connect to the Lord, but they want sense gratification for that. Because of doing these services, these practices, they want to enjoy material life. These yogis will suffer in this life and in the next life also. So therefore, if somebody is practicing renunciation, it is not just for the show. It is for the transformation of the heart. By practicing devotional service, heart should get transformed. Otherwise, as Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Mather tilak goler kanthi aito kalir chela. You know, somebody can be dressed as a devotee, but he can be a complete hypocrite. So a devotee should be anya abhilashita shunyam jnana karmadya navritam. So therefore, when a person realizes you and he understands that nothing of this material world can help me, he is not so much concerned about the good fortune and the bad fortune. He is just interested in serving you, you know. And therefore, this devotee is not so much concerned, oh, what people are telling about me. Ye kya bol rahe hain, wo kya bol rahe hain. Because their ears are full of glories of the Lord. They are completely oblivious of all the material things. Absorbed. Evam vrata swa priyanama kirtya jata nurago drutta chitta uchchai hasatyatharo datirauti gayan unmadvan nrityati lokabahya. Lokabahya, they are not so much concerned what people are telling about me. They are absorbed in singing, dancing, and glorifying the names of the Lord. So, even if a neophyte devotee falls sometimes, Krishna does not reject him. Krishna takes care of him. You know. So, therefore, ultimately, the Shrutis, they define the supreme absolute truth. They are telling, oh my Lord, you are unlimited. Nobody can describe your glories. There are countless universes within you. How can any one of us glorify you? Everything is emanating from you. So this is the last prayer. This 41st prayer is the last prayer of the Shrutis, and in which they are glorifying that, Lord, you are ultimate. You are unlimited. So after this, Narad Muni is telling, so it is described there. Shukadeva Goswami tells that the ancient saints who travel in the upper directions, so the Shrutis, they are still continuing, the saints who travel in the upper directions, they have distilled all the topics and they are just discussing about your pastimes. So in this way, Narayan Rishi, he was telling the conversation which was happening between the sages of Janaloka. So Sanandan, he clarified the questions of the sages, and Narayan Rishi is now telling to Narad Muni that in this way, O Narada, now you take all those instructions in your heart and travel all over the universe, all over the earth, and keep on telling all these glories. So Shukadeva Goswami, he continues that Narayan Rishi, after he ordered Narad Muni in this way, Narad Muni, who is described as the hero, Veeravrata, who is a hero, who is fixed in his firm faith. He offered his obeisances and he started glorifying the Lord. Namastasmai Bhagavate Krishnaya Malakirtaye Yodhatte Sarva Bhutanam Abhyavayoshitah Kalah. I offer my obeisances unto the Supreme Lord, who has Amalakirtaye, who has spotless fame, and who is manifesting in various incarnations just to attract the hearts of everyone. So after this, Sri Narad Muni, he bowed down to Narayan Rishi and he returned to his hermitage, where my father, Shukadeva Goswami is telling, he returned to the hermitage of my father, that is Vyasadeva. So Narad Muni, after he heard all these instructions from Narayan Rishi, he went to Vyasadeva and he described everything to Vyasadeva. So in this way, Shukadeva Goswami tells, I have replied to your question. You had asked, how can the Vedas describe about Brahman, which is indescribable, which has no material qualities? So in this way, I have answered. And then he ends that Lord existed before the creation. He will continue to exist after the creation. So therefore, he is the master of everything. He is the creator of this entire universe. He is the maintainer. And by surrendering unto him, one can escape the illusion. And one who wants to be fearless should dedicate to that Supreme Lord. So that is the end of this chapter. We'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Shri Krishna Bhagavan ki jai.